Jabir asked the Prophet ﷺ, what can make my Hajj mabrur, O Messenger of Allah? What can make my Hajj mabrur? Rasul ﷺ said to him, طيب الكلام وإطعام الطعام, that you speak softly, nicely, and you offer food for people. That basically having a positive, helping attitude in Hajj. This is so much needed because you're going to end up with 5-6 million people in Hajj, and everybody's having anxiety and fear. So imagine you coming up with that attitude. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sheikh.
Naam, name, state and question please.
Okay, this is Kansas City. Hi, Sheikh calling. I want to know, I have 3 questions regarding Salah.
Naam, go ahead Aisha, go ahead.
The first one is, what age is valid for the kids to be like the imam, around the house? You encourage them to pray behind, and is it our salah is valid?
We have no specific age for this. We have Amr ibn Salama, someone who was in some of the accounts 5-7 years old, different accounts. So we don't have a hadith that says at the age of that, then somebody can lead the salah. What matters here is their awareness of the salah. Are they well versed with the Quran to lead the salah? Are they well disciplined to stand in front of the congregation to be imams? That's what matters at the end. But there is no such a thing, and I understand that the brothers from the school of thought of Imam Abu Hanifa would go big fist with that. But listen, we don't have an evidence where it says the imam has to be 11 or 12 or 13 years old. We don't have that. We have different hadith where the imam is actually 7 and 5 years old. But now what matters is how aware the imam is with the fact that he's an imam. Yes, your second question please.
Alhamdulillah. The second one is, my kids came out, they go to Islamic school, and they tell me, if you have an intention to pray, you don't have to make wudu, your shower is enough for you to do. How true is this?
I didn't understand. What I understood that your children go to Islamic school. Then what again?
Right. They tell me you don't have to make wudu right after shower. Your shower will substitute your wudu.
As long as you had the intention that this is a ritual bath, yes, you do not have to make wudu after taking a shower. As long as the intention was not just to clean yourself. You see, when we go and take a shower, our intention is just to do some physical cleanliness of our body, that we wash ourselves. If this is your intention, then you have to make wudu afterwards. But if your intention that this is a ritual bath, and ideally that you follow the steps of making your ritual bath, that you actually make the wudu before you actually wash your head and right side and left side, this works as a wudu. You do not have to wudu again unless you broke your wudu after you came out of the shower.
Right. Okay. They were asking me, before we go Jummah, if you already shower, you don't need to make a wudu.
They are right. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
The other thing is, if the imam is leading you, some people really rush on the salah. You might not even finish your al-Fatiha. So are you obligated to follow the imam, even though you have not even finished the al-Fatiha?
Well, are we talking about a loud salah or a silent salah?
It could be the silent salah. The loud salah, you can hear what the imam is reciting.
No.
Yeah, I would referring the whole.
I would do my best to recite it quickly so that I end up reciting al-Fatiha. I would do my best to recite it quickly. And I think if you know the imam is of that type, so you should base yourself that as soon as you get on the salah, recite al-Fatiha right away so that you end up reciting it. Jazakallahu khairan.
Okay, Jazakallah.
Wa iyaakum. Assalamu barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Naam, name, state and question please.
Yes, my name is Sakina. I'm calling from Canada.
Yes, Sister Sakina, your question please.
My question is, I have a problem. I have business place. Like I bought a building with interest, but this building is on sale. After I know even before that I end up buying this building, I put the building on sale for like almost year. Now my question is it possible for me and for my husband to go Hajj?
Yes, it is possible for you as long as you intended to come out of this and you're working your way out. You know that the story of the man who killed 100 people and he ended up going to Jannah without actually making the destination?
Yes.
You know that story of that man, or should I explain it to you?
Yes, I know that.
It's exactly like you. You already started. You initiated it. Just don't change your intention now.
Okay.
Jazakallah khairan.
وإياكم. جزاكم الله. السلام عليكم.
Sata barakat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Naam, name, state and question please.
Mubarak from Dearborn.
Yeah, somehow I'm having a hard time hearing. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, what is your question please?
Okay, my question is it when you're fasting, can you brush your teeth?
Yeah, you can brush your teeth, but it's not something that you should do between, Fajr and sunset. You should do it before Fajr and after sunset.
Oh.
To avoid, I would rather use a siwak, okay? Siwak.
Okay.
All right, good man. Jazakallah
Okay.
khair. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum.
السلام عليكم.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you turn down the television, please?
السلام عليكم.
Can you please turn down the television and talk to me from the phone if you want to get this going? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, I have two questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Number one question, that when you join the salat in the jamaat, in the ruku, that means you have missed the Surah Fatiha. So is that going to be counted my one rakat, or I have to do that rakat again?
If you join the salah at the state of ruku', the rak'ah counts.
Okay. And number two question.
Let me just
before one of the sisters who may have been reverted to Islam, and she says she's the only Muslim.
Okay.
And she's the only Muslim. And she said that she wanted to go for the Umrah. And you said that she cannot go without mahram. So my wife also reverted to Islam, and she has a lot of questions. So I could not explain her. Then she said that way the sister who is a Muslim cannot go even out of the house.
No,
That means that
we're talking about.
she cannot go out of house. She cannot go for the mosque alone. She cannot without mahram.
No, we're talking about.
But you said that according to the Imam Shafi rahmatullah alayh,
No,
that is one school of thought.
No. Okay, we're talking about traveling. We're not talking about going out of the house to the mosque or going shopping. No, we're talking about traveling. Traveling, you know what travel?
Okay, so for the long travel.
Yes, traveling, not the other stuff. I mean, it's impossible.
Because that's what the misunderstanding was taken by the sisters.
No, that's. I didn't say that. I said a woman should not travel. You know, when we talk about traveling, we're not talking about going shopping or going to the mosque or going to the store.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah. No.
Thank you, Sheikh. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Alaikum assalam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Naam, name, state and question please.
I just want to ask Sheikh.
Yes, that's the sheikh. Go ahead.
Okay, I asked about Surah Al-Kahf. How about Surah Al-Kahf reciting on Fridays?
Surah
What's
ايه؟
the whole-
Surah ايه اختي تاني؟
Surah Al-Kahf.
Al-Kahf.
Yes.
What about it?
What is about reciting it on Friday? I don't understand.
Well, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned in a hadith that whoever recites Surah Al-Kahf on a Friday, it will enlighten his week until the next Friday. Enlightening here means a sense of guidance, that Allah will guide you throughout the week. And in general, reciting Surah Al-Kahf, especially the first 10 or last verses, the first 10 or the last 10 verses, it is a protection from the fitna of the Antichrist. Add to this, if you recite the surah with reflection and contemplation, this surah is amazing because it contains a lot of beautiful stories. The story of the companions of the cave and the fact that they were asked to give up their deen in a society and they refused. And you know what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comforted them. And this is something that we need to be reminded of. We as Muslims, we face a lot of fitna and we ask all the time to give up our deen. So we need to be like the companions of the cave, not to give up our religion, and in a way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the comfort. The second story of somebody who had two gardens, extremely wealthy guy, and the other one is poor, but the wealth of that person drove him to disbelieve in the day of resurrection. So if you have money, if you have wealth, if you have this world, but you lack the deen, this is an awful thing. But if you're poor, you have nothing, but yet you have the deen, this is a wonderful thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the dunya to those whom He loves and those whom He does not love. But He gives the religion, gives the akhirah to only those whom He loves. And هذا حديث يعني معنى الحديث يعني. The third story is a reminder of who Satan is. Satan is somebody who is after our misguidance. You're reminded with his whispers and so forth. And we have the story of the knowledge, Musa and Al-Khidr. That regardless of how much knowledge you have, there is always somebody who is better in knowledge than you. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. And also we have the story of the man who was given power, Dhul Qarnayn. And the fact that he used that power, he employed that power to spread the religion, to spread justice in earth. So if you read these surahs, this surah with reflecting and pondering upon the meanings, it does guide you throughout the week. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam.
Naam, name, state and question please.
I'm from Dearborn, Michigan.
Yes, and your question please.
Is it halal or haram to rent a car or lease a car with no debt involved, but there's something called like a money factor?
So you rent a car, you rent a car or lease a car with what again?
Lease a car
with what?
No debt involved.
Okay.
And no debt involved, no interest involved.
It is
in leasing the car.
It is permissible if you agreed that you're gonna rent that car from the owner of this car for so much a month. This is permissible in Islam as long as there is no interest involved, like you said.
Yes, but there's something called the money factor where instead of me paying the car, paying the dealer, I have the bank pay the dealer and we do a loan.
So you have somebody else paying the dealer through a loan?
Yes. The bank, yes.
The bank, that akhi, this is riba. This is riba right there. The bank buying it and then leasing it to you, this is riba. Because at the end of the day, you know, this is your car and you know that you're obtaining that car from unlawful means. This is usury. This is one of the tricks of shaitan. Jazakallahu khairah.
Yeah, here's the question he's trying to ask. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum assalam wa
rahmatullah. The question he's trying to ask is if we lease a vehicle from a dealer, and of course when you sign the paperwork, there's nothing there that says interest. But I've learned of a term called money factor, where this is something between the dealer and the bank that gets involved when somebody leases a vehicle. So is this, even though that this is between them, I have nothing to do with, it's not the contract that I signed, and I know that there's like a small percentage, like a 0.1%. That's something being involved between the dealer and the
who is paying? Who is paying that?
As far as I know, it's not mentioned interest for me.
No, who is paying that? Who is paying? Is it the dealer paying the bank for that money factor you said?
Yeah, see, when you lease a vehicle, basically the bank pays the dealership in full, or gives the amount in full, and basically what's going on is when we return the vehicle back to the dealer, it's then I guess the bank gets a portion of that money back, and then the dealers are required to sell it or whatever they do after that. But basically, when I go and lease the vehicle, they say that there is no interest, but there is a money factor. It's something that I just learned in the last 6 months.
I'm sorry,
It's something like interest, but it's not something that I'm paying directly.
I'm sorry.
That's between the dealer and the bank.
Can you please do me a favor, because I hate to answer this while I'm not aware of the facts, and I will certainly say something that is not correct. Do you mind sending me an email or a link to that money factor where I can research it? And based on this, I will come back and answer you, because I hate to say something that I'm not aware of, please.
Well, I appreciate you, brother, because this is something I think that a lot of Muslims should understand, and this will be a big service.
But can you please send the link where I can research that money factor and how it goes, and this way I can educate myself about the issue. Jazakallah khairan.
But if you want, you could easily Google it if you want, and then maybe
it's called
when they say
money factor. Factor. Okay, inshallah. Okay, Jazakallah khairan.
Okay, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam.
Naam, name, state and question please.
Mohammed of Toronto. My question is, during the Hajj period, before you go, I was just wondering if you can tell me what was the question?
Muhammad, I can't hear you. You need to speak up and ask your question, please. Muhammad? I'm sorry, Muhammad. I'm going to have to let go. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum assalam.
Hi. How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah. How are you doing?
Brother, just now you told that for the silent play where Imam Shafi'i say, Imam Abu Hanifa says that it should be performed silently. Hello?
I'm listening to you. I'm trying to make sense of what you're saying. So go ahead and speak.
Yes. The Imam Shafi'i, Imam Abu Hanifa followers is more than 1 billion in all over the world. That he said that this prayer should be silent, but now you say that the hadith is not reached to him. In the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam performed it. So I don't know whether we are practicing Imam Abu Hanifa. We are wrong.
Well, the school of thought, let me just explain this to the people so they also understand what we're talking about. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam mentioned that من لم يقرأ بفاتحة الكتاب, whosoever does not recite al-Fatiha in his salah is invalid. His salah is...
So when we follow Imam, brother, when we follow Imam, all the thing is gone, because we must follow Imam. The Imam, whatever Imam saying, now it's not for the Muqtadi.
Now, I understand, my dear brother, that there are people in the Ummah who have to blindly follow an Imam because they're... Can you allow me to speak?
Yes, brother, yes.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. There are some brothers and sisters in the Ummah who have, at the end of the day, to follow, a Muqtadi, like he said. They have to be blindly follower of a certain Imam, because they don't have the knowledge of sorting out the hadith and figuring out, this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't be doing. That is why when I answered the question, I said we have to be very careful when we address these issues, not to hurt the feelings of brothers like those. But we encourage the Muslims to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the end of the day, because Imam Abi Hanifa himself, rahimahullah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on his soul, he made that statement and he said, إذا صح الحديث فهو مذهبي. If the hadith is authentic, then the hadith overrides my madhab, overrides my ruling. So at the end of the day, we as Muslims, we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And the job of the Imam, the mission of the Imams, whether it is Abi Hanifa, rahimahullah, Malik, rahimahullah, Shafi'i, Ahmad, rahimahullah al-Jami', is to actually bring us closer to the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But again, right now, not everybody will be able to sort out the hadith, understand it, be able to implement it. That is why we don't go after them because they are follower of the madhab, nor we tell them that what you're doing is wrong. We just remind them that we need to follow the sunnah, and that's how we answer this.
No, I know, brother, but one thing is clear, that you know, all the big madrasa in India, in Pakistan, in all those sides, which most of them are followers of Imam Abu Hanifa. So they've already taught us, they have already told us that you follow this way. But now this will create some misconception because because the people already, there are madrasa, there are several, you know, more than 800 millions as a follower of Imam Abu Hanifa. I think this will be something difficult for us, that since from the childhood we are following the same thing, now we change it. I don't know, but this is something for we might be somewhat, I don't know. I mean, what should I say?
I understand your position 100% and I feel for you. And yes. I love you, my brother, for the sake of Allah, wallahi, and I really mean it. I say it out. Yes, I say it out of my heart.
In this school of thought, they have told so much emphasis on Imam. Whatever Imam say, you must be follower.
Yeah, let me finish. I love you for the sake of Allah, and I have no doubt that what you're doing, I ask Allah to accept it from you. Whatever you're doing, following the school of thought of Imam Abi Hanifa, I make dua for you that Allah accepts it from you. But at the end of the day, we need to understand one factor here, that we say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. At the end of the day, our muqtadi, our imam, our shaykh is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And Rasulullah, that's, and I don't want to place a blame on our respected and honored imams like Abi Hanifa. In no way that they were trying to divert us away from the messenger. No, they just did their best. But you need to understand, Abi Hanifa rahimahullah existed in the first 300 years after the death of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, all the hadith was not available to him. A lot of hadith was not available to him. But you see, because of that fact, himself, he said, listen, if I said to do something in a certain way, and then there is a hadith that contradicts what I said, you leave me and you follow the hadith. But at the end of the day also we need to be careful with that, because not every Muslim who is brought up with the school of thought of Imam Abi Hanifa can understand the hadith properly and implement it properly. That is why we tell him, go ahead and do iqtida with Abi Hanifa until you understand. But at the end of the day, we should all be urged to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jazakallahu khairan.
Yes, brother.
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Brother, this is in Bukhari also the same thing. In the Bukhari also there is, I don't find any place mentioned regarding this hadith. I don't know really. In Bukhari Sharif there is.
What hadith are we talking about now?
The hadith you are speaking that Surah Fatiha should be there for the Muqtadi, this one.
الحديث حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه. The Prophet صلى الله عليه is not in Sahih al-Bukhari, so in Sunan al-Imam al-Nasa'i, الرسول authentic chain of narration, الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم says, whoever does not recite الفاتحة in his salah, من لم يقرأ بفاتحة الكتاب فصلاته خداج 1, فصلاته خداج 2, فصلاته خداج 3.
Yes, this is your brother, you are right.
No.
I accept this because we are the followers. But you know, we are now following that way, brothers. We are following already the Abu Hanifa since our childhood, brothers.
I understand.
So,
I can explain my position. So. وإياكم. I love you. I love my brother. I love you. جزاك الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. وإياكم. Okay, the last thing before we sign off here, we still have what? 10 minutes? All right. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
نعم. Name, state and question, please.
My name is Jelani Omar. I'm calling from Canada, Ottawa.
Yes, Jelani. Your question, please.
My question, brother, Jazakallah, first of all, I'd like to say to you, thank you very much for this program supporting all the Muslims in this world.
Alhamdulillah.
We are educating a lot of things from what we need. I have, brother, the question is, I have 4 daughters.
Alhamdulillah.
And the mother. And I work far away from the kids. Sometimes 2 months, 3 months. But the oldest